Hi, I'm Claire Henderson. Most people know me as the architect who transformed the old Miller building downtown into the city's hottest mixed-use space. But today I'm standing in front of my grandmother Eleanor's mansion, still trying to process the fact that it's now mine. You really lucked out, sis. The familiar voice of my older sister Melissa cuts through my thoughts. She's examining the ornate front door like she's appraising a competition piece. This place must be worth millions now. Eleanor always said she'd leave it to someone who'd preserve its character. I run my hand along the hand-carved banister, remembering countless afternoons spent here learning about architecture from my grandmother. And naturally, she picked her favorite. There's that edge in Melissa's voice, the one I've heard since we were kids. Come on, honey. Let's be happy for Claire. That's my brother-in-law, James, always the peacemaker. He's examining the crown molding with genuine interest. This is incredible craftsmanship. You must have big plans for the restoration. Already working on the designs. I pull out my tablet, excited to share my vision. I'm thinking of maintaining the original Victorian elements while updating the... You should see what the Carmichaels did with their historic home. Melissa interrupts, scrolling through her phone. They completely modernized it. Doubled the value. That's not really what I... Oh, you have to meet Robert and Diana. James brightens up. My parents are on the Historical Preservation Board. They'd love to see this place. Later that afternoon, James's parents proved to be exactly the kind of people I need in my corner. Diana gushes over the original fixtures, while Robert shares stories about other successful restorations in the area. This is precisely the kind of project the board loves to support, Diana says, examining the stained glass windows. Someone who understands the historical value. Unlike the Carmichaels, Robert adds with a knowing look. That renovation was a tragedy. I catch Melissa rolling her eyes. She's been unusually quiet during the tour, tapping away on her phone. Claire, can we talk? She pulls me aside while the others explore the library. Look, you're clearly overwhelmed with your current projects. Why don't you take a vacation? I can handle the initial renovation plans, get things rolling with contractors. I insist. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. You've been working so hard. Take a break. I'll make sure everything's perfect when you get back. Something in her tone makes my stomach twist. I've heard this before, when she helped with my college application essays, when she organized my portfolio for my first job interview. Each time somehow things worked out in her favor. Actually, I'd rather trust me. She squeezes my arm just a little too tight. What are big sisters for? I freeze outside the mansion's garden party, hearing Melissa's voice carrying through the open windows. She's hosting a family reunion I supposedly knew about. Poor Claire's been so stressed lately. The pressure of her job and now Grandma's death. She asked me to handle everything while she takes time off. My phone buzzes. It's my best friend, Sarah. Where are you? I just drove past your house and saw moving trucks. Moving trucks? I'm at the mansion. Melissa's throwing some kind of, get your butt to my office now. 30 minutes later, I'm pacing in Sarah's law office while she pulls up documents on her computer. Your sister filed for temporary property management, citing concerns about your mental state. My what? I'm literally handling a multi-million-dollar development project downtown. She's telling everyone you had a breakdown after your grandmother died. Claims you've been making erratic decisions. That's why she wanted me to take a vacation. My knees go weak. She's setting me up. We're not letting her get away with this. Sarah grabs her phone. I'm calling Robert and Diana. They've seen you handle massive projects. They'll vouch for your competence. My phone lights up with a text from James. We need to talk. Coffee at Marcel's? At the cafe, James looks uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on with Melissa. She's been acting strange, making calls to psychiatrists, asking about involuntary evaluations. She's trying to push me out of my own inheritance. Diana mentioned something similar happened with Melissa's college roommate's family property. I should have seen the pattern. My phone keeps buzzing with notifications. Aunt Patricia, heard about your breakdown, sweetie. So brave of Melissa to step in. Cousin Mike. Take care of yourself. Let Big Sis handle things. Your parents are on their way, Sarah texts. They're furious. Diana found documents in Melissa's home office. I race home to find my front door unlocked and half my belongings gone. A note sits on my kitchen counter. Moved your things to storage while you rest and recover. Unit 23B at Safe Store. Love, Melissa. My phone rings. It's Diana. Don't worry, dear. Robert and I are already talking to the Historical Society Board. We've dealt with similar situations before. That woman tried this exact same thing with the Brighton's summer house last year. What woman? A friend of Melissa's. They were college roommates. Robert has been doing some digging. Apparently, they've both got quite a history of helping family members with property management. I sink onto my half-empty kitchen floor, surrounded by gaps where my life used to be. Sarah bursts in, legal papers in hand. We've got her. Robert and Diana found the original deed in your grandmother's study. Melissa didn't know about the safe behind the painting. Ready to crash a garden party? The garden party comes to a dead stop when we walk in. Sarah clutches the deed while Robert and Diana flank me protectively. Melissa nearly drops her wine glass. Everyone, I'd like you to meet Michael Thompson. Diana gestures to the distinguished man beside her. He's handled real estate for the Brighton family for 20 years. And I've never seen such a clear case of attempted property fraud, Michael announces, loud enough for all the guests to hear. This is ridiculous, Melissa laughs nervously. Claire's just upset because I'm trying to help, like you helped with my architecture school application? The words burst out of me. The one that mysteriously got withdrawn after you offered to mail it? Or like the time you helped present her design project in high school? James steps forward, realization dawning on his face. The one that won you the state competition? James, sweetie, you don't understand. No, I think I'm finally starting to. He turns to the crowd. Did any of you know Claire designed the renovation for the Children's Hospital? The one Melissa took credit for at the charity gala? Aunt Patricia gasps. But Melissa received an award for that? Just like she's trying to take credit for my inheritance. I hold up the original deed. Found this in grandmother's safe. The one you didn't know about when you were searching her study. Along with this interesting letter, Diana adds, pulling out an envelope. Eleanor knew exactly what you might try, Melissa. She documented everything. Is that why you wanted me gone? I step closer to my sister. So you could destroy grandmother's papers before anyone found them? Remember the Anderson project? Michael cuts in. Your college roommate tried the same thing. I was the agent who caught that scam too. The party guests start whispering, moving away from Melissa like she's radioactive. James stares at his wife, horror written all over his face. You told me Claire was having a mental breakdown. His voice shakes. But those doctor's appointments you showed me, they were fake, weren't they? The same way she faked those emails from me to the Historical Society, I add. The ones where I supposedly gave her permission to take over. We've already contacted the board, Robert announces. They're launching a full investigation into both your historical property dealings. Melissa's perfect mask finally cracks. You were always her favorite. Every Christmas, every birthday, poor little Claire got all the attention. So you decided to take everything else instead? James backs away from her. How many times, Melissa? How many other properties? How many other lives have you tried to steal? I think we'd all like to hear the answer to that, Michael says, pulling out a recorder. Especially given the similar cases I've documented over the years. The room goes silent as Melissa looks around wildly, finding nothing but accusatory stares. Her wine glass shatters on the floor. I suggest we move this conversation somewhere more private. Sarah steps forward, legal papers in hand. Unless you'd prefer to discuss your pattern of fraud in front of all these witnesses? 6 months later, I'm standing in my fully restored living room, watching Robert address the Historical Society Board. The Brighton family estate wasn't her first target. We've uncovered 6 other attempts to seize historic properties through similar schemes. The psychiatric manipulation pattern was consistent, Michael adds, flipping through his files. Always targeting family members, always claiming mental instability. The divorce papers are finalized, James tells me quietly, looking both relieved and exhausted. You won't believe what we found in her private email account. Lists of potential properties, family members to target, even scripts for fake mental health scenarios. Have you seen the business news? Sarah rushes in, waving her tablet. 3 major clients pulled their contracts from Melissa's firm. They're citing ethical concerns about her involvement in their historical renovations. The karma train finally arrived. I can't help but smile as I adjust a family photo on the mantel, one without Melissa in it. Your grandmother would be so proud of the restoration. Diana runs her hand along the newly refinished woodwork. The Historical Society Board voted unanimously to feature the mansion in their annual home tour. Speaking of the board, Robert grins. They want you to head the new Historical Property Protection Committee. After what happened with Melissa, they're creating strict guidelines to prevent inheritance fraud. The doorbell chimes. More guests arriving for my housewarming party. I hear whispers about Melissa's latest humiliation, being kicked out of the Downtown Business Association after they discovered her pattern of taking credit for others' work. Did you hear she tried to crash the mayor's charity gala? Someone mentions as I pass with drinks. Security had her entire photo portfolio ready. All the projects she claimed were actually done by other architects. Remember when she tried to say the children's hospital renovation was her design? Another guest scoffs. Now your name's on the plaque where hers used to be. Claire, Michael calls from the study. The Preservation Board wants to know if you'll consult on the Anderson House restoration. Apparently, they need someone who can spot fraud attempts from a mile away now. Looking around my beautifully restored family home, filled with genuine friends and supporters, I feel Grandmother Eleanor's presence in every carefully preserved detail. You should frame this. James hands me a newspaper clipping. Local architect exposes property fraud ring, saves historic mansions. Better than the headlines about Melissa's counter lawsuit getting thrown out? Sarah laughs. The judge's face when he saw our evidence. To Claire, Diana raises her glass, everyone joining in. Who proved that the best revenge isn't just success, it's exposing the truth and protecting others from the same fate. I raise my own glass, thinking of the scared woman I was 6 months ago, standing in my half-empty kitchen. To karma, I add. And to family, the real kind, not the toxic ones who try to steal your life. What would you have done in Claire's shoes when Melissa first suggested taking that vacation? Would you have confronted her immediately? Or, like Claire, would you have waited to gather evidence first? The most dangerous predators often hide behind family ties. When have you had to choose between keeping the peace and standing up for yourself? Share your story in the comments below. If you enjoyed this tale of justice served, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that explore the complex dynamics of family, betrayal, and sweet, sweet karma. Let's build a community of survivors who turned the tables on those who tried to take what wasn't theirs.